What is up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Franca and I'm glad you're here. Today we're going over Justin's lawsuit against Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Without further ado, let's get into it. At the bottom, this is not a case about celebrities snipping at each other in the press. This is a case about two of the most powerful stars in the world deploying their enormous power to steal an entire film right out of the hands of its director and production studio. Then, when Lively and Reynolds' efforts failed to win them acclaim they believed they so richly deserved, they turned their fury on their chosen scapegoat, tolerating a year and a half of their behavior while remaining polite and professional at every turn, offered Baldoni and Wayfair no protection. By bringing this complaint, plaintiffs commit themselves to seeking and proving the facts, based not on insinuations built from selectively edited and context-free text snippets, but by putting all the evidence before the court and the public. When plaintiffs have their day in court, the jury will recognize that even the most powerful celebrity cannot bend the truth to her will. Baldoni co-founded Wayfair in 2019 from the beginning. Wayfair was dedicated to being a different kind of studio, one that produced world-class entertainment driven by powerful vision for change. Baldoni, whose film career was dedicated to producing and directing meaningful films to have a positive impact on the world, was deeply moved when he read the book It Ends With Us, and genuinely believed he could make a film that could save lives. His last two films were created as a result of a deep sense of responsibility to share meaningful stories. Baldoni's feature film directorial debut, 5 Feet Apart, was based on a young woman, Claire Wineland, who lived with cystic fibrosis, and courageously documented her plight on YouTube. Baldoni, his families and friends developed a friendship with Claire, whose journey deeply inspired Baldoni. Before Claire passed away, Baldoni promised he would tell her story, and he did just that in the film he directed. The film-wide impact on the CF community, and Baldoni still receives messages about the film's impact. Baldoni also supports her foundation yearly and remained close with Claire's parents, even bringing her father as his guest to the premiere of It Ends With Us. Baldoni's more recent film was the Wayfair film Clouds, a true story about a teenager with cancer, Zach Beach, who finds joy, purpose, and inspiration in music. In pursuit of the same vision, in 2019, Wayfair acquired the rights to the film It Ends With Us, a Colleen Hoover novel published in 2016. Though positioned as a romance novel, the book explores themes of DV and generational patterns of abuse, and these messages resonate deeply with readers and draw a passionate fan base. The novel exploded in popularity thanks to the social media phenomenon Book Talk. Many fans expressed how important the book was to them as survivors of DV and intimate partner violence. When It Ends With Us author Colleen Hoover watched 5 Feet Apart in theaters, she told Baldoni, "You are the right person to make this movie," referring to It Ends With Us. Baldoni's early emails to Hoover demonstrate his commitment to doing so in a manner he envisioned would be the most impactful. In fact, it was Hoover who suggested Baldoni portray Ryle. Okay, so this is a message from Justin to Colleen. "Wow, it's such a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for being open to having me potentially option your book. Some quick backstory. My purpose and intention in this insane business are simple. Create impact by making content that helps us remember our shared humanity. Content that asks us to be better, to make the hard choices in the moment that one day on our deathbeds we will be grateful for. It's a tough road, but an incredible one, as our industry doesn't often reward those of us trying to change culture. Luckily, it's the messages of those that watch the content that are rewarded and the lives we have affected. I've always believed the financial reward will come, but it's not the primary motivation. As Johanna may have told you, I am building and got funding for a company whose mission is to tell high-end meaningful stories, and I just finished my first film with my second setup at WB going this fall, based on this short doc I directed 7 years ago. Also, if you'd like to see an early screening of 5 Feet Apart, I'm sure I can make that happen as well. Where are you based? Just wanted to save the reviews I read for this book. This one stood out to me and makes me so excited to potentially work with you. Your fans love you. What a gift you have." I guess this is like someone's comment on the book. "Of all the heroines I've ever read, Lily was most certainly one of the ones I admire the most. I loved her from the first few pages, but having finished the book, I truly couldn't be prouder of her. Her strength and conviction over the course of the story made her into a heroine I'd want every girl and woman to read about and look up to." Which, if you want to see my opinion on the book It Ends With Us, I will link it up above for you guys. "She was so real and vulnerable, as we all are, but the strength with which she took control of her life was admirable on such a deep level. I just wanted to hug her and cheer. I don't think I've been this proud of a fictional character before." There's an incredibly powerful message in this book, subtly woven in from the start. It begins in the first chapter, but you don't yet realize how significant each of these moments truly are. And as you read more, those pieces of the story come together, forming a scenario that gives such a raw, honest portrayal of an incredibly relevant issue. And I'm not mentioning it on purpose because I don't want you to expect it. The fact that it's unexpected for you as the reader is very important because it's also unexpected for the heroine, as she begins to realize what kind of situation she's in. So do you, and this realization very much allows you to experience her journey with her. Yes, please send over an ebook, but I also just purchased it on paperback as I like supporting authors. Looking forward, Justin. Okay, this is from Justin also to Colleen. I'm finally coming up for air from the release of the film, but still shooting Jane for another 2 weeks. By the way, were you able to see it? Would love to know your thoughts. We actually started filming the final episode today. Crazy. So grateful. So I haven't been able to get It Ends With Us off my mind. Such an important story. So damn romantic and beautiful and tragic and hopeful. I always say that both in art and life, all the best stories are always two things at once. And this is so much of what your book is. Joy and pain, love and sorrow. You did such a beautiful job of covering incredibly difficult subject matter and playing it out in a realistic and unforgettable way. But what I love the most is the opportunity to let so many women feel seen on the screen via this particular story. I can't even imagine how many women there are who are stuck in a relationship like this and via this story could find the strength to create a better life for themselves and for their children. There are so many opportunities to partner with organizations and create impact with a story like this. I love that you held nothing back from the pain of Lily and Raoul's past. I love that they really are no bad guys, and that we are all the sons of our experiences and our trauma. I love the opportunity for narration and the stunning and gorgeous impact of the title paid off in the end. These are the kind of stories that change and save lives, and I believe this story in particular can continue to have a huge impact on the world. SO. If you will have me, I would love to option it from you. On a separate note, the screenplay for 5 Feet Apart was adapted into a novel and has been on the New York Times bestseller list since before the release of the movie last month. I know you have your charity, and I would be happy to donate some signed copies for the bookworm box. Let me know what you think. Much love, Justin. So this is now Colleen Hoover to Justin. Thank you so much for the email. I wasn't expecting you to read it so quickly. I would love to talk with you more about this project. You get the book, and that's the most important thing to me. My biggest fear is that I'll option it to someone who thinks it's a hot romance and they'll take it in the absolute wrong direction. But is that literally not what Blake did? Pass it off as a hot romance book? But now you're on Blake's side. Little fishy. I think Colleen Hoover needs to be subpoenaed immediately. Because what's going on with her? She sides with Blake, but doesn't say anything other than, Blake, you're such a kind soul, blah blah. Goes MIA. I'm pretty sure she also took down her Instagram or what's it called? Deactivated her Instagram. What are you hiding? I'm going to be upfront with you about a couple of things so you can decide if you want to move forward. I've sold several film options, and I realize not all of them get made, and I'm okay with that. One of the film options was not a great experience. The producers started a fundraising campaign for the film without my knowledge or permission beforehand, and it ended up taking over $100,000 from my readers. The film was never made, my option was never paid, and I ended up pulling the plug on the project, and the producer never refunded the readers their money. I felt terrible that my readers were the ones punished, so I mailed out $15,000 worth of free products to those who donated to their campaign. I want to be positive that crowdsourcing is not something that will be done when it comes to this film. It's important to me that a funding plan is in place that won't affect any supporters of this book. While that experience wasn't a positive one, I have a wonderful experience working with a producer on Confess. It was a 7-episode series that was picked up by Awestruck and Go90, and unfortunately, right before it released, Go90 declared they were shutting down. Because of that, Confess released on an already defunct platform just a week before they were scheduled to shut down. Luckily, my readers got to watch it, so not all was lost, and the overall experience was so much fun and very surreal. I didn't really have a lot of involvement beyond reading the script and getting the dailies. I just handed it over them and let them do their thing because I was immersed in other projects at the time. It Ends With Us is important to me though. I would love more involvement on this film. I've actually been working on a script for it already, along with a producer friend of mine who lives in LA. Her name is blank blank, and she's a very dear friend of mine and is a huge fan and supporter of this book. We sat down for a week and outlined it last month, but I had to put a pause on it because I'm on a deadline for this book I'm writing. We planned on picking it back up in 2 weeks, diving into it. Even though I'm an author, I believe I've been able to separate myself enough from the format of the book to know what would make the best setup for the film. While I do want to please the readers who have read the book, I understand the need to make a film that will equally touch those who haven't read the book. Are you based out of Los Angeles? Maybe we can meet and have a chat about our vision for the film to make sure we're on the same page. I'm based out of Texas, but I'm in LA a lot. Other than ensuring my readers won't be asked to donate to the fundraising for the film and hoping to have more involvement in the process when it comes to the script and production, I don't really have any other requests. I realize your experience with film far outweighs mine, and based on the magnificent adaptation you did of 5 Feet Apart, I'm confident you could do this book justice, that our visions will align. I watched the film 2 nights ago and immediately started the book yesterday. Sometimes I do like to do it backwards. I think you did a wonderful job, even though I'm not finished with the book yet. I feel like the essence of it was captured beautifully throughout the film. I wrote a book where one of the characters suffers from CF, so I've done a lot of research on the subject and thought Rachel and you did such an amazing portrayal of what carriers of CV go through. In fact, at our very first donation through the Bookworm Box was to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. We donated in honor of the child of one of my readers. His name is blank, and he's just an incredibly inspiring kid. Check out his video. It's actually funny you emailed me when you did. When the email came through on my phone, I was on your website browsing Wayfair. Okay, that's enough rambling. I really do appreciate the email and appreciate you taking a chance on reading the book. My readers are so ready to support this book, and it has meant so much to so many of them. So naturally, I want them to be happy. I want to bring them an adaptation they'll be proud of. Did you happen to read the author's note at the end of the novel? It's a quick read if you don't get the chance to read it. My mother inspired this book, so maybe that's why I've been so hesitant to sell the rights to it in the past. I feel good about this though. I feel good about you. I've seen your past work, your passion, and your love for humanity, and I honestly feel there's no one better for the project. Before I direct you to my agent, I just want to get your thoughts on the above. Thanks so much, Justin. I hope you and the family were able to get some vacation time in. Colleen. However this works out, I would love books for the bookstore. In fact, we just started a YA box and would love to feature 5 Feet Apart in the subscription box if there's a way we can buy a few hundred copies at cost. Everyone needs this book in their possession. Colleen to Justin. Have you given any thought to whether you would want an acting role in this? Say maybe Ryle? I could see it. Soon after, Wayfair partnered with Sony to co-finance and distribute the film. Their agreement included at Wayfair and Baldoni's insistent that the provision was a deal breaker, a requirement that 1% of the film's proceeds be donated in support of survivors of DV. That 1% was ultimately earmarked for the organization No More, with which Baldoni had sought to partner with as early as September 22. As they began making the film, Baldoni and Wayfair felt an immense responsibility to do justice not only to the story of the protagonist Lily Bloom, but to the stories of survivors around the world. Plaintiff Heath, CEO of Wayfair, expressed on Forbes June 28, 2024, his high hopes for the film. I hope that people leave the theater feeling inspired, that for those who have been hurt, they feel seen and the story was told in a way that honored them. I feel like people who may in themselves as someone that may hurt somebody may think twice about it. So I hope that people leave feeling that they got a glimpse into the world that oftentimes we turn our eyes away from. In casting Blake Lively, a world-renowned actor with talent and charisma, in the leading role, they entrusted her with that vision to bring Lily to life. Although Wayfair learned that Lively had a reputation for being difficult to work with, Baldoni at the time was not dissuaded and found her to be genuine. On or about December 31st, 2022, Lively agreed to take the lead role of Lily Bloom. As part of the subsequent negotiations, Lively was granted an executive producer credit, a title often given to talent of her stature. Lively had requested a producer credit, but Wayfair and Sony demurred given that such a title would not accurately reflect the role she was asked to play in the production. Wayfair did not request nor require that Lively contribute to the film in any capacity beyond her role as an actor and executive producer. In the beginning, it appeared that Baldoni and Lively would have a positive, collaborative creative partnership. Baldoni and Lively worked so closely in the early days of the film, trading ideas about filling key roles in the film's cast and crew. Their working relationship grew close. Baldoni and Lively shared stories and pictures from their lives, commiserated over family illnesses, and exchanged jokes and memes. Baldoni offered concern and support when Lively faced family health concerns. They texted almost daily, and a friendly banter established a comfortable dynamic that, under typical circumstances, would have made working together easy. Alright, I got some text messages coming up, but I think I'm gonna save them for the next video. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like and comment down below. If you didn't, feel free to leave a hate comment, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.